I live down the street from a small community college. Once a month, they have a flea market that brings in people from all over. Most of the vendors are just small-time rag and bones men selling odds and ends, but there are a lot of unique things there. I've gotten a lot of cool knickknacks to decorate my studio apartment, and even some furniture too. Sure, IKEA makes better-looking things, but my stuff had history. It had a story. It had personality. I was always on the lookout for something neat to add a little flair to my living space when I stumbled across a new vendor. I come to this market every month and most of these guys knew me by name. But this guy was new. He was older. I'd peg him as in his 40s. Handsome in a friend's dad kind of way and had a warm smile. His looks drew me in. But his stuff as in merchandise, you pervs, it kept me there. He let me shop and I was glad. I might be nice, but I wasn't too keen on talking to strangers. I'd often compared my personality to leftovers. It took a bit to heat up, but it was great once it did. My best friend Alice called me the microwave, and the nickname kind of stuck. She had even addressed my last birthday card to Micro. While his stuff was cool, nothing had really been calling out to me. I was about to split when I noticed, buried under some old National Geographic, Playboy, and Sports Illustrated magazines, was a small gray electrical box. When I cleared away the mess, I saw there was an old school microphone attached to it. It had an arc dial of what looked like radio signals and half a dozen knobs and turners. It looked like something out of Fallout. As if on cue, the man walked over. "Oh, that's a Johnson Viking Ranger with a lollipop microphone," he said, assuming I knew what the hell he was talking about. "Want to say that it's from the late 50s or the early 60s. "What is it though?" I asked a little naively. He let out a small laugh and I felt the blood rush to my cheeks. "I guess it's a little before your time. It's a ham radio set." He could see that I was struggling. "Like a CB radio. Like something a trucker would have?" 10-4, good buddy," he said with a laugh. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I laughed at the dad joke too. He just had an easy charm about him that the laugh just came out of me naturally. Collectors call them glow bugs because of the yellow light on the screen. "Does it work?" He shrugged. "No idea. I picked it up for $2 in an estate sale about 6 months ago. I looked it up online and thought it might be worth something to a collector, but no one had showed any interest. I've just kept lugging it around from show to show, hoping somebody would take it off my hands." I picked up the old microphone. It had some heft to it, and I pretended to talk into it. I tried to think of any trucker lingo I knew, but it was a short list. "Is Smokey on the road?" As soon as I said it, I felt embarrassed. I could not have been any more dorkier if I had tried. "Sound like a natural," the man said with a smile. "You're entirely too nice," I said, putting the mic down. "You interested?" I wondered if there was a double entendre there, and I decided I didn't mind if there was. I smiled. "I think I am." "How much you got?" I reached into my purse and I pulled out $25. He nodded. "Tell you what, since you have such a natural talent and a voice made for radio, I'll let it go for $5. I was stunned. "Oh no, that's too nice. You said it might be a collector's item. You can't let it go for so cheap." He grinned. "At $5, I'll be making a $3 profit. Besides, it's one less thing that I have to lug home." I handed over the $5 and he handed me over the ham radio set. I made a mental note to return to this booth next month. When I got back to my place, I placed the radio on my desk and I plugged it into the wall. I turned the volume knob on until it clicked on, and from the speaker, I heard the warm hum of static. It worked. I turned another knob, trying to find a band that had people on it. I scanned, but I didn't hear anything. I got to a channel where the static stopped. I pressed the microphone and I said, "Hey world." There was nothing. I was about to shut it off when somebody did respond. "This is the emergency channel, ma'am. Did you need something?" No, sorry," I said before shutting the whole thing off. I grinned. It was kind of fun. Granted, I didn't buy it for the function. I bought it for the looks. But still, I could see the appeal. Alice did not. She came over later and she stared at it. So some dilf smiled at you and you bought a hunk of junk? Micro, this is why you live in a studio apartment. You need to be better with your money. Shut up, I said. It's cool looking. And I didn't say you was a dilf. I would never say that. No one should ever say that. Yeah. Just promise me you aren't going to hook up with some rando at the flea market. I have standards, Alice. She just pointed at the ham radio. Do you, though? I laughed and I threw a takeout menu at her. Just pick something, huh? I popped a bottle of wine and I poured us a glass. It would not be our last. We picked up some stupid rom-com to watch and we vegged out on the couch. 2 hours and bottles later, we finished our movie. Feeling a little buzzed, Alice looked at the ham radio and grinned. What? I said, knowing what she was going to suggest. Let's talk to someone. I don't really know how. The only channel that I found was the emergency channel. I'm pretty sure we can figure it out. Come on, let's get your $5 worth out of that thing. She walked over and she turned it on. The yellow light glowed and we heard static through the speaker. She spun the dial to try and find another band. Not too much later, we heard people talking and she stopped. She nodded to me and then the microphone. I shook my head. No. She shrugged and grabbed it. Hey there, guys, she said. How's it going out there in Radioland? After a beat, a man's raspy voice came back. Hot damn, what is your handle, honey? And we both cracked up. There was only one answer. Queen Bee, Alice responded. And I'm here with my gal pal, Micro. I rolled my eyes. Sounds like a bit more fun than what I'm doing. And the raspy voice said back. Well, what's that? Right on the road, darling. Ever been in a big rig? Without missing a beat. I've rode one. And the raspy voiced man laughed and then started coughing. I bet, baby. You got money in your voice, Queenie. You close by? Maybe, maybe not. If you are, I got a stinger for you. We doubled over in laughter. Alice looked at me and shook her head. I think this is like getting an analog dick pic. Just then, a more refined and, if I'm being honest, sexy male voice chimed in. Don't be so disgusting, Ripper. Sorry, ladies. Alice gave an approving nod. And who might you be? On here, I go by Dash. I looked at Alice and I shook my head. Dash? Really? Michael wants to know what's the big deal with your name. She can't ask herself? Alice nodded in agreement and handed me the microphone. I didn't really want to talk, but 2 bottles of wine took over. What's the deal with the name? Isn't that one of Santa's reindeer? Alice laughed and took the mic back. She shook her head. And you wonder why you're single. But Dash took it in stride. That would be Dasher, my dear. My name comes from my job, which requires me to be quick. I grabbed the mic and I blurted out. So not in porn, I take it. Alice nearly fell out of the chair laughing, and I wasn't far behind. Nor so it seems was Dash. He had this laugh, it seemed familiar, in a classic movie star kind of way. Like I imagined Cary Grant or somebody like that laughing that way. No, he said. Although, anything is possible, I suppose. Future is unknown, I said between laughs. Sometimes, he responded. Forgive my friend, I think she hit her head. I couldn't argue, it had. I shrugged and Alice rolled her eyes. Does she bruise easily? Dash had asked, but Alice flipped the switch off and stood up. You, my dear, should go to bed. The booze has made you weird. Ah, don't you want to keep giving lonely truckers warm thoughts? I'll pass, thanks, she said, stretching. If I really wanted to thrill like that, I'd head down to the truck stop. Oof, don't even joke about that. Thanks for having me over. I needed a laugh. Are you all good to drive? Alice nodded. I'll be fine. I'm just right down the road. I'll take the side streets. We hugged and she took off. Instead of marching off to bed, I decided to lay on the couch and flip through Netflix. I picked a series that I had been meaning to start, turned on the lights and cuddled under a blanket on the couch. I was about 15 minutes into the first episode when I passed out. 3 hours later, I heard it clicked and then the soft static from the speakers. I sat up and saw the yellow light on the ham radio glowing in the dark. I was sure that Alice had shut it off, but I had been drinking. I flipped on the lights and I walked over to the ham radio. I was about to shut it off when I heard a familiar voice calling through the speaker. "Hey, Micro," he said with that charming voice. "How are you doing?" Dash. I didn't want to respond. I found it creepy. But before I could shut it off, he spoke again. "Not up for conversation, dear." I picked up the microphone. "It's late," I said. "Sorry. You're probably feeling a little out of sorts. What with all the wine that you drank?" That was odd. I know we didn't mention any wine to him. "Am I wrong?" he asked. "Look, I've got work in the morning." He laughed. "I don't think so. You don't work on Mondays, right? Still have that English class you're trying to finish up." I froze. He was right, but how did he know that? I looked around my apartment. Was someone in here? Everything looked in place, but that didn't mean anything. "Did Queen Bee leave?" "Nope." I lied. "She's sleeping on the couch." Again, he laughed. "Then who left in her 2002 Chevy Prism a few hours ago?" I could feel my blood chill in my veins. "Who are you?" "Dash," he said matter-of-factly. "We talked earlier before you suddenly left. Why did you leave me?" I walked towards my kitchenette and grabbed a knife. I kept my eyes on a swivel. "What are you going to do with that, darling? Where the hell are you?" "Closer than you think." "Who do you think turned on your radio?" I didn't know what to do. My mind was reeling. I looked across the room and I saw my phone on the coffee table. I wanted to make a run for it, but what if somebody was in my apartment waiting for me to run? What if Dash was watching from outside and had a friend hiding in my apartment? "How bad do you want that phone, huh? Even if you got to it, you think the police would get there before I would?" I nearly passed out from fear, but I steadied myself on the counter. Forget it, I thought. I'm going for the phone. I gripped the knife and I took off. I half expected somebody to come jumping out of one of my closets or from behind some furniture, but nothing happened. I grabbed my phone and I dialed 911. As I did, Dash was laughing through the speakers. I went to the window and I peeked out my blinds into the parking lot below. It had started to snow and the ground was dusted white. I was looking for any car that was idling or somebody standing nearby. Maybe it was somebody in the building. 911, what's your emergency? Somebody is threatening me. Are they there right now? No, yes, not really. It's over a CB radio. Okay, I'm gonna send over a squad car now, but I need you to stay on the line with me. Do you know this person? No, I said, glancing around the lot. Are they near you? Maybe, I don't know. They said they were. I am. The response came from the radio. I hadn't touched the microphone. How was he hearing me? Was there something in my house? I'm really scared, I said, holding the knife. Please get someone here as soon as you can. The police are on the way, ma'am. Just stay with me. Laughing from the speakers. What are the cops going to do? Clean up the crime scene? I started sobbing. Why was this happening? What had I done? I wiped away tears and I uttered a prayer. It was the first one that I had done in over 10 years, and I hoped whoever was up there was listening. The Lord's Prayer, huh? Right on cue. Right before death. They all become religious. What is your problem? I yelled, my voice cracking. Why are you doing this? But there was no response. I was watching the speaker of the ham radio and I saw the volume button spin and click off. Ma'am, are you okay? I was stunned. What the hell did I just see? Was I going crazy? It just shut itself off. The operator repeated the question and I blubbered something into the phone. The police are nearly there, dear. I leaned down against my door and I just sobbed into my hands. I was so angry and helpless. And that's when I heard the crunch of snow outside of my door. Someone was walking up. I thought that it was the police, but I wasn't gonna move until I found out. They could prove it to me. I'm glad that I stayed down. I saw a shadow near my window, trying to see in. I could barely make out who it was, but I knew that it wasn't the police. He was outside of my door. My lizard brain kicked in and I stopped my sobs. I gripped the knife and I was ready to stab anybody that tried to come in. Above my head, the door handle started to turn, but the lock held. On the other side of the door, the man started pushing himself against it. He was trying to get in. I screamed into my phone. He's gonna come in. They are right down the street. They're gonna be there, just stay with me, the operator said. Just then, the figure swung his gloved hand into my window and shattered the glass. His wrist was exposed. Without a second thought, I dropped the phone, leapt up, and I slashed the man's exposed arm with the blade. It cut a deep gash and he withdrew his hand. I heard him run away as the siren started to fill up the air. I didn't move until the police showed up and proved that they were the cops. I let them into my apartment. They checked out the scene. They found a few drops of blood and some footprints, but lost both on the stairs. They asked me a ton of questions and I did my best to answer. I was a mess and recalling all the details was hard, but I tried. The cops were nice and they helped me. I was in shock. And then the ham radio clicked on. Everybody turned to the yellow glowing box. After a long beat, Dash spoke. It's called a glow bug, honey. They're rare these days. And then he laughed and shut off the radio. That's when the tumblers clicked. The man at the flea market. I told the cops everything I could about him. They suggested that I call a friend and stay over. They also wanted to take the radio to have a better look. Alice was at my house in 2 minutes flat. A week later, the detective assigned my case gave me a call. He had some interesting information to tell me. He said after poking around, he had learned that this kind of attack had happened a few times in the last couple months in the surrounding towns. And with that tip, he had opened up the CB radio to discover a microphone and a pinhole camera that had been inserted inside and hardwired to the battery. The man had rigged something to turn on the power from a remote location. It was high-tech gadgets stuffed into a low-tech covering, a digital wolf in sheep's clothing. He was probably talking to you from a modern cell phone, the detective said. He could have been anywhere near you. What happened to the other woman that he attacked? There was a pause. You're lucky you fought back. It's been months. I since moved into a new apartment with roommates and a big-ass dog. I stay away from flea markets, and it goes without saying that I don't mess around with any bullshit ham radios. I don't know if I'll ever feel totally safe again, but I am working at it one day at a time. What terrifies me though, is that this man is still out there doing this to somebody else and there's nothing I can do to stop it. I've just tried to pick up the pieces and move on with my life. There was a cold chill in the air that morning. The friendly man tapped on the metal box centered within the junk pile and gave an easy smile. They're called glow bugs, he said to the pretty young girl. And I can let you have this one for next to nothing.